del avión.
Nomás tenemos de 2 sopas que escoger.
Sí, pues no me cabe toda la maleta.
¿Ya estamos live?
Sí.
Ok.
Ok, excelente. ¿Este es el micrófono?
Ese es nuestro, pero se escucha todo.
Sí.
Okay. So, yeah.
Mira, tomate.
¿Estamos live? Okay. Well, hey guys, welcome to another episode here at Side Hustles by Seoenz. Today we have Old City
New Ways.
New Ways. Okay, awesome. So they actually invited us to be part of their podcast today, and we're like, we can definitely do a live now. So I'm Heidi So, and this is my husband.
Carlos Enriquez.
It's over there.
Yeah.
Okay. And together we are Seoenz. So would you guys just like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, so my name is Alexandra, and I'm part of the Old Cities New Ways team. Excited to be here and to talk about all your
Achievements and everything that you guys have going on.
Everything you do. How about yourself?
And my name is Aldemar Aburto. I'm one of the co-founders of this podcast, and I'm excited to talk to you guys as well.
What's up? My name is Alexis Hernandez, another one of the members of the Old Cities New Ways family. I'm here to happy to be here. Happy to have you guys.
Awesome.
Okay.
So, well, without further ado, let's get started with this podcast.
You're gonna get to see a little bit of the prep work that goes behind the podcast. Behind the
Yeah.
scenes,
See,
Okay.
things that we never show you.
Because I don't make the cut.
Okay, so essentially, we're going to start off. I'm going to introduce myself and then the team members as well. Is there anything that you guys like to? Would you guys like to be referred as Seoenz or?
Yeah, we can definitely do that. Yeah. So I usually just introduce myself as Heidi So, and then.
Yeah, because we're made by Seoenz, so we just mix
Made by
our
Seoenz.
last names. Yeah.
And we're here with
So-
Made by Seoenz. Does that
Yeah.
work? And you guys introduce yourselves? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Ready?
Ready?
Hi, welcome to Old Cities New Ways. My name is Aldemar Aburto, your host, and I'm joined by Old Cities New Ways team
Alexandra.
and by Made by Seoenz. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
My name is Heidi So,
I'm Juan Carlos Enriquez.
and together we are Seoenz.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So, for those who have not heard Made by Seoenz, who are you guys? What should they know about you?
They should know that we do a lot of things. So our main focus from Made by Seoenz is actually we have our logo and it's an umbrella.
Yeah, I see that.
And the reason it's an umbrella, it's because everything we touch goes under our umbrella.
Oh, okay.
So Made by Seoenz, we have two different things. We do products and we do services.
Mhm.
With products, we have an Amazon store. We have Shopify set up for Nuestra Nostalgia. And we also make some products in China. And then for services, we go into the whole Airbnb, where, we remodel for Airbnb, we co-host for Airbnb, we have a Union Plaza Loft venue that we do micro weddings for. So that's all into a service category instead of like a product, because I'm offering you obviously customer service,
Mhm.
event planning, and remodeling. So that's pretty much, I think, what we all touch. And the reason we do that, the reason we chose the logo, it's because my dad, growing up, he would always tell us, hey, as long as you're under my umbrella, you're going to be okay. But if you step out of my umbrella, you're going to get wet. So just stay, it was his way of telling us to stay close to your family, stay home.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all venture out, we all go and do other things. We left for Silicon Valley in 2017.
Okay.
I got a job offer over there, and he was crazy enough to follow me. So then that's how we started doing stuff on our own. But, we really wanted to come back home. For us, home, it's always El Paso.
Yeah.
And we're both born and raised here. But, I feel we planted our roots really well. And, my parents did the same thing, and his parents did the same thing. So that's why we're still here. We wanted to come back home.
And there's a lot of serial entrepreneurship in what you just said, right? So much, covering so much at the same time. You're really jack of all trades, right?
It's
He's the jack of all
Yes.
trades. It's a team dynamic,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Exactly. And where does that culture come from? Where did you guys find the will or the curiosity to find all these venues to start working and trying to develop that entrepreneurship?
I guess we started by I guess we grew up into businesses. Like
Mhm.
my wife, she grew up into the downtown. What is it, like a general store?
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, I was born into like a candy manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad always had. I remember from what is it, from elementary school, that I came in to the
To the shop.
no to the home because he was doing the candies at home
Oh.
first, and then
Sorry.
okay, so then it took off. So always I remember the smell of candy coming out from
The kitchen.
yeah, from the kitchen.
Mhm.
So he moved on to the business, and that's where it began. So we started to see, I guess it was the same for my wife, from really early on to how to, I guess, manage the products, how to sell, mostly sell, right?
I think that's the
Yeah.
main key.
That's the main thing,
Yeah,
selling
I
it,
think,
We-
yeah, selling.
the sales side.
I think it's
Operate.
not that you were born into it.
Uh-huh.
Not
For
everyone
us.
knows how to sell.
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
That's
for
hard.
us,
It's hard to sell.
And also how
For
you
us,
report
it was like for us, it was just that you know, our personalities, how we are, it's good for business.
They complement each other.
Yes, and I've mentioned it before. You know, I'm not an only child. You know, I
Mhm.
have a younger sister and an older brother. He has a younger sister as well, but we're the only ones actually, you know, following this entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
you know, adventure, because we all have different tastes. We all like different things, and you can't expect every child to do what you're doing. But you know, my parents were lucky enough that at least one of the three, one of the three wanted to take over. You know, not I wouldn't say the business, but actually just explore more ways to make money.
So, I guess what got you interested in actually venturing out and I guess exploring the entrepreneur life? Like, did you study it or?
Oh, no.
And I want to add on to that because there's usually those small little aha moments that, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to follow.
I think I'm still figuring it out. But I could say that definitely not. And I feel we're both the same in this matter. Growing up and seeing how much work it takes to actually do a business, we were both at initially like, oh no, let's not do that. You know, let's go to school. We were both really good at school. You know, we're both engineers. We're mechanical engineers. So we have our master's in systems engineering. Even though there's 4 years difference, we ended up going towards like the same paths.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like, I remember early on when I was younger, I hated going into my mom and pop shop. Like I hated it. Like it was just that time where you're rebellious and you hate doing what your parents tell you. And
Yeah.
so I dreaded every weekend because my parents would take us every weekend to work, and I felt like work, but my mom would always tell me, she's like, well, I'm always at work.
Mm-hmm.
She would always say, my first house is actually the shop. I just go to the home to sleep. If you want to see me, you have to come to the shop to see me because that's where I'm at. I'm there 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day. Christmas, New Year's, you name it. Like we never closed.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing that, it was just for me initially, it was just like, oh, that's a lot of time. And I don't want to do that. You know what? Let me just go and do my career and, you know, get a job and stability and not have to work so many hours because you see your parents working every day. Like there's no like day off. When you're a business owner, there's no freedom.
Yeah.
People think that when you're a business owner, you have all this freedom and you can do whatever the hell you want and blah, 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 and you don't have to go and work. No, like when you're a business owner, small business owners, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to do the work. You have to do everything first. And you learn, and then whenever you have enough money, you hire employees, you know, because you can't just hire employees like out of the blue because you don't even have the money to pay them. So it's like, it takes time to build a business. And during that time that you're building it, you're always there. So the difference that we have now, it's not that I have freedom, it's that I have flexibility. Business owners gives you a flexibility that if I do need to take off, I can take off. If I need to go pick up my daughter at noon because she gets off, then I can go. I can just take off and go and do that. I'm not tied to, I would say, maybe a timesheet, but that doesn't mean that I'm working any less. I'm actually working more. My head, my brain doesn't stop working, like not even at night. I have to listen to mantras every night in order to fall asleep. If I don't do that, like my mind keeps working. So you learn how you can survive.
Yeah, and the thing is that my wife, if she has an idea, she makes it. She makes it a reality.
No, you make it a reality. I just decide. I just do the deciding.
And
He makes it a reality.
that my mother-in-law says is that she what she is afraid of is it's not afraid, but it is like she doesn't want to have the feeling of anguish or the feeling of not doing something because it is on your mind. Let's say I want to do this, and because I didn't have time, I didn't have money, she didn't do it. That's the worst thing that she can ever imagine that can happen in her life, and that's something that I guess my wife inherited, because if there's something that she wants to do, if it's a wedding expo, she's gonna do it. Why? Because she has that drive,
That passion.
to accomplish it. And at the moment when we just first got the idea, it is like, well, a wedding expo in just a couple, like 2-3 months.
No, 1.5. 1.5
1.5.
months. I did a bridal and wedding expo with my PR. Her name is Victoria Acosta, and it's from Perfecto PR. And me and her, we planned a wedding expo in a 1.5 months.
Wow.
And it was chaos.
It was.
It's been the stressfulest job I've ever had.
I mean, expos, they get planned years in
Yeah.
advance.
Yeah.
And you decided to tackle it in a 1.5 months. That's impressive.
And I had like 20 vendors, and I was surprised. And then there was like 2,000,
For the first year.
200 people to show up, and I was like, oh my god, like this is great. Like I was so nervous. I'm always nervous. Yeah, and I couldn't sleep the night before. Like I was just so nervous that what if no one shows up? What if no one gets there? What if no one knows about it? And then people were just getting there and like coming in. I was like, oh my god, like this is so cool.
That's awesome.
And the fact that we did it in such a short period of time, it was just astonishing to a lot of people. They were like, are you serious? Like this is great. We had a runway show, and we had the models and dresses, and then we had musicians, like live music played during the runway show. It was just a whole thing. It was great. I don't want to do it again, but I'm gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're planning on next year around February.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully, if the star aligns, then we'll do it again. But going back to what he says about
the thing is that
everything I say, I do.
On the website.
Yeah. So we just have to make it work. Make it work.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're in one of your ventures right now, right? For those who can't see us through the live, they're hearing us through the podcast. We're in one of your ventures, which is a micro wedding. What would you call it?
It's a venue. It's called the Union Plaza Venue, and we focus on micro weddings. That's our niche. I don't do anything bigger than 50 people. If they say it's a micro wedding, more than 50 people, they're lying. That's not a micro wedding. Yeah, it's usually a micro wedding defines by 50 people or less, a very intimate affair, and where you can actually splurge on other things instead of just food. You can actually do great decoration. You can, maybe have that dress that it's super expensive because, your budget actually goes towards other important things, not just the fact that, hey, I'm going to bring like 500 guests and how much is that going to cost me? Because you have to feed everyone, right?
Yeah.
So we do work in this venue. I do have my in-house florist. She's my best friend. Her name's Alejandra Gamez. She has her business. It's called Love Notes Floral Arrangements. And she's my in-house florist for all my weddings that happen here. The same thing with my in-house chef. So his name is Jose David Terrazas. And we're planning on actually opening up
A restaurant.
a restaurant with him, partnering up. It's going to be called the Union Plaza Bistro. And it's just going to be next door to the venue. And the reason we're doing all this is because the bistro, it's actually, he's the chef. He's going to still, in that menu, he's going to have the 3 entrees that he provides to the
wedding.
to the weddings, and now you can actually go and taste that amazing food like at the restaurant,
Yes.
because right now you can't. Like there's no, unless you have a wedding here, you can't try that delicious risotto. Like it's been best risotto I've ever tasted in my life. He's a great chef. It's just
He won a
amazing.
prize right now.
Yeah, like 2 years ago, he was the best chef here in El Paso. And having him join us and, doing this new adventure with us, and, he does all the catering, like for the weddings. Even if they just want to like maybe finger food or anything, it has to be through him. And I think that's very good how I manage the businesses. I try to get more people to, join with me, but I'm very picky or very specific.
Detail oriented.
Yeah. When I allow the clients to book the wedding, I literally tell them, this is A, B, C, D. Like, there's no, can I just do, no, like, this is how it is. Like, you can't bring outside food. Like, it's going to be like this. You have to, do the tasting, and everybody loves it. But obviously I understand maybe it's a little harder you're the bride, you're like, oh no, but I want to give Chick-fil-A. It's like, well, then you definitely need to go.
Has that actually happened?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, power to you, right? It's your wedding.
Yeah. Actually, that was like one of the first weddings we had. They got married February 12th of this year, and I hadn't found the chef yet, so we hadn't partnered up. So I was like, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Like, I didn't have all those, contacts. So I was like, yeah, you can.
And that's something that we do a lot, is that we jump into the idea that we have.
Oh yeah.
And we learn on the process. We
I
don't
suppose.
wait for us to learn everything before. And I think that's a contradiction from what we learn in school. Like we're engineers. We have to first plan and have that conceptualization and the design before you apply it. But in business, we've taken a rather different approach.
In business, it's a leap of faith. You just go for it. And that's another thing I always tell them. Just go for it. Just do it. Like, I always ask because I already have the no. If I don't ask, it's already a no. So I always make sure to ask. The same thing when I do it. Like, I'm just going to do it. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, I'll just move on to the next thing. And so far so good. Like, everything I've set my mind to, like, it's worked out. But this is a very new industry for me. Like, coming into this whole brides and weddings, and I was never taught anything from that. Like, my mom doesn't do that, my parents don't do that, like my friends don't do that. Like, it was just like, what am I doing? But we started with what we do know. We started with, hey, let's remodel this place. That's what we know. So we're like, and again, if you guys want to book this venue, you can only find it on Airbnb.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yes.
Let's start talking about it.
I want to touch on the many business ventures that you have. And I guess we can go ahead and start with, what was your all's first project?
Together or just?
Let's say together. Yeah.
It would be
The first
The
made by
remodeling.
Seoenz.
Remodeling. Yeah, I started doing. I'm more of the project manager, the interior designer, and then my husband.
I'm the logistics. I usually get the.
On the operational side, yeah.
And then he built it.
And finances and stuff.
Yeah, operations manager, logistics, and jack of all trades. So. Yeah, and he's very hands-on. He loves to build furniture. He does a lot of my furniture for the Airbnbs. He does my shelving. There's just so many things, and he enjoys it. So that's the good thing. Like, he actually enjoys building stuff because we're engineers. So in a weird way, we still apply everything we've learned through school, but just in a different perspective.
Yes, and just to add on, we've actually interviewed, I don't know if you guys know them, 1,000 Grams, the artists. They pay murals and everything. They are also engineers, and they have their own businesses within the arts. So it's interesting how engineers start applying their knowledge, which is very rich, into businesses. And you guys are a perfect example of that as well.
So I think that was like the first thing we started doing together was the remodeling. but we only remodel for Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
So every time we finished a unit, it goes on Airbnb. I haven't even finished it yet, like furnishing, but it's already on
Already
Airbnb.
around like
And
Headless
crazy
chickens.
people.
crazy people.
Yeah, we're just trying to get it all ready. But that's how I learned to do business.
Mm-hmm.
You just go for it. You just do it.
I
Like,
had
you don't
deadlines.
wait. Because if you wait for it to be perfect, it's never going to be perfect. And you're just going to be there sitting on money, because you already invested so much. And if you're not getting anything in return, then when are you going to actually see that profit? So for us, it's just, no, like, we can't afford that.
Mm-hmm.
We have to make sure that you're getting something out of it. And the sooner the better, right?
Yeah.
So that's like the main thing we started doing. And then we created Made by Seoenz.
Yeah, because we wanted to tie in everything together, like
Okay.
our parents' business, and then what we were doing with Airbnb, and then so let's see what Made by Seoenz is, and then we just say, okay, we offer two things. We offer services,
And the
where
products.
we exchange work time for money, and the other one is products, which we design or we actually resell products,
Mm-hmm.
and just set up. Okay, so Made by Seoenz is not just a company, but it is company of companies.
An enterprise.
Yeah, like I guess a management company for companies or something like that.
A
I don't
holdings
know
company.
whether to state it that way,
Mhm.
but yeah, like Made by Seoenz is us, and we manage like Nuestra Nostalgia, which is just right next door. That's my parents' candy store.
It's grown to this point, right?
Yeah, of course. And then we have the Amazon store as well. I mean, at the beginning I was just reselling candy. And right now we design our products and 3D print them, and then we send it over the drawings to on China, and they make them for us, and we just
Ship
get
them
them,
out.
yeah, ship them
Wow.
out, and pick them up on Los Angeles, and have it here.
And then we
send it
sell
out
them
all over the
in
US.
Amazon. So if anyone out there listening and you want to get into the e-commerce with Amazon, the key there is to have original products.
Okay. Yes.
If you have original products, then you can make good profit. If you're always just drop shipping or reselling, you're always competing with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have your original products, then that's where the money is. So, and also Amazon can't copy you. 'Cause they steal a lot of products from a lot of people.
I mean, they eventually will, but hopefully not
Yeah.
for long.
Well, hopefully not soon.
Yeah, hopefully not soon.
There's a lot of topics I guess we can go over, but I think it's
But that's a good point that you say. Like, we made sure that Made by Seoenz was a company and that all of our businesses feed into each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we try to make sure. So the Nuestra Nostalgia, they have a very good online presence. We ship to everything in the US. It's free shipping over $25. You get like the candies that you love, and we have a good presence there. And those candies I give to my tenants, my Airbnb, for Christmas, for Valentine's, for any holiday, hey, or a welcome gift. I always do. I have a lot of long-term tenants right now. There's a lot of traveling nurses. They miss home. They miss everything. Obviously, they don't know the candy, but that doesn't matter. Like, it's a treat. It's something that I'm giving them, and they love it. They're like always so thankful. So I tie in Nuestra Nostalgia into Airbnb that way. Then we have my parents' store. It's called Uno Plus El Paso. It's always been on El Paso Street in downtown. Now, my mom, it's my main vendor. She provides me with the small shampoos that you buy, like that you have on the hotels.
Mm-hmm.
So she finds them. She brings them to me. Bedding, sheet, everything that I could possibly need. A blender, a toaster, everything. So because the business that has given us all of this is that store. So that store has been open for 30 plus years, always on El Paso Street. And that's what's given my parents the means, the ways to actually build everything else. Now, the only thing that I did was I just came in and I just figured out a way on how we can all intertwine.
Yeah.
Because before I met him, obviously, he's doing Amazon, he's doing, the candy shop, and I was over here doing Uno Plus El Paso. So then when we joined and we became one in a sort of sense that my dad actually told him when he asked for my hand in marriage. He told you. What did he say?
What's your plan?
No. No, he told him, you guys are not gonna be by yourselves. You're actually joining both families. And that's a lot how we do stuff. Like we always get together. So we merged businesses in a way that we didn't even know it was possible. I brought my father-in-law's candy shop into this same building, you know, and now we're always tied in together in ways that we didn't know, but it just, I guess, faith that that we did what we did.
Yeah. No, and I think that's yeah. No, I mean the union between our two families, it was like, I don't know, it was like a hand in glove or something like that.
It's energy to the max.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of energy as well. Because I mean, once we got married, we came back, and then we started this
The
building.
remodeling.
I know that you could tell a story about your dad wanted to sell this property.
Oh yeah, I was
And
telling
then
you
you
guys
said-
earlier.
So tell us more about the building itself.
Yes.
Okay, so this is called, well, it's not called, but I'm the queen of Union Plaza.
You get to call it what you want, right?
Well, it doesn't actually have a name, but everything in this building I've named Union Plaza, right? So
Okay.
the apartments have been there for like 20 years, and it's called the Union Plaza Apartments. Now, later, we owned the building first, and then later on, they made the Union Plaza parking garage. So we're like, oh, you know. And then when I remodeled downstairs, this is called the Union Plaza Loft venue. And then with the restaurant coming in, it's going to be the Union Plaza Bistro. So the whole building itself, it's just a lot of businesses all put together that feed into each other.
Yes.
And the whole point of it, it's my parents. I mean, they wanted to retire. And
You want to sell the building?
they wanted to sell the building. My dad was like thinking about, and this was back in like 2016.
Okay.
He was like, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to sell. And I was like, no, don't sell. Because we have, well, the baseball stadium was already built, but they were thinking, they were already talking about building an arena here.
Mm-hmm.
And it still hasn't happened, but it will happen. So they were already thinking about, hey, they're going to do an arena. So I told my dad, I was like, wait. If it's worth 1.5 right now, wait until they build the arena. It's going to be twice as that.
Yeah.
You guys want to sell. Obviously, in 2016, I was majoring in mechanical engineering. I was going into my master's for systems engineering. So there was nothing like in my mind saying, oh, no, don't sell it. I'm going to take over and I'm going to do all this. No, like that wasn't the plan. I was just like, just hold on. Don't sell it yet. Sell it later on when the arena's done and we're going to make more money from it. So he listened to me and he, you know, put hold on everything. And then fast forward, once, you know, 2018 comes back, we come back from Silicon Valley and then we get married and then we come back from the honeymoon. And that's when, you know, that's when we talked to my parents and they were like, you know, we really want to retire soon. So what can we do? And we were like, we can do Airbnb for the apartments. We're gonna.
But that's not something that we tested before. We just said, okay.
No, we've never done Airbnb. I didn't even know. I only used Airbnb as a guest, you know, as a client. We traveled a lot through Europe and we were always just staying on Airbnb.
And they wanted to test you, know, on the first apartment. Or
well, no, they were just like remodel the whole apartment complex, and then I was taking too long. So they're like, come on, like just, again, there it goes, like just go for it, like just do it. Like, when are you going to list it? And I was like, okay, let me just, it wasn't ready, right? It wasn't ready. It wasn't perfect. I was like, well, but it's not ready. I didn't have the furnishing. I didn't have anything. So I was like, well, I'm not there yet. But then, yeah, the pressure comes in. They're like, well, when is it going to be ready? So I was like,
I remember that.
I just went for it.
Like any kind of show that you have a deadline, and everybody, oh no, we just have like an hour for someone to come in, and that's how we felt. Like, and we don't have the bedding or the
And we were all like, we divided and conquered. We were like, okay, you're gonna bring the bed and you're gonna bring the mattress, and I'm gonna go to Ross and I'm gonna buy bedding, and and then we brought everything from the store. Like, it's just 3 blocks down. So like, I was like, okay, just get everything that you need for a kitchen, spoons, forks, like blenders, all that stuff. Like, so it was just massive. Like, we were all doing everything at once. And then I was like, okay, wait, hang that picture there. Hang this here, hang that there. And
the guest is walking into the door.
yeah, it was very like stressful. And then we had to clean still, right? So no, but it turned out great. We had a great review from that one. Like, we got like a 5-star review because they stayed like a weekend. So that gives you validation on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, that's not too bad. And then so that was apartment 7, and then we finished apartment 6, and I put it on Airbnb. And the first guest that stayed there, we actually had the roofing being done by Gardea Construction. So they were gonna remove the skylights, and we didn't know that the skylights were actually like shared between like both bathrooms. So I was telling them like, oh, just remove the apartment 7. And then when they tried to remove apartment 7 skylight, like, they actually saw through the apartment 6 skylight, and like, I had guests in there. And it was, oh my God, like, that was so stressful. I felt so bad. And then, you're the face of what you're doing.
Yes.
That was the first time I had to go and like apologize, and I was so scared. I didn't want to go, and he's like, you have to because you're the host. And I was like, no, you go tell them. You go tell them, like. And then he's like, no, like, you have to own up to the mistake, and you also have to apologize and make them see hey, how can we just
Make it right.
Make it right. And I showed up with with Nuestra Nostalgia candy box, and I was like, and I gave them a small card, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm so sorry. I apologize. We didn't know that was how it is, and I'm so sorry. They're not gonna bother you anymore. They're gonna move on into another apartment, but I just want to say I'm really sorry. And they're like, yeah, we just got freaked out, and they were really nice. Actually, they left me like a 4-star rating. And I was like so surprised because I was expecting like a 1. It's like privacy.
Yeah. And the thing is that I remember they were the ones that left the review that the mattress, it was really, really
comfortable.
Wow.
And that's a local.
Yeah, we partnered up.
Downtown.
Yeah, it's Mena's Mattress. It's actually there on Alameda. And he builds all the mattresses. He makes them.
He makes mattresses.
Yeah,
I did not know there was still like mattress makers.
He makes them. So, and they're really comfortable. So we buy from him, and he already knows me. Like, we've just been like, it's been years that we always buy. And the thing is that mattresses don't have a long life, regardless. Especially now, like that you're having more people come in and so we always change them up. We always buy new ones, and we just. That's what you need to do. But yeah, it's been really great. And yeah, they left me a 4, and they still said great things. Like, they never mentioned the whole fiasco. Yeah, they didn't mention that. They were just
thing is that it was quickly because there was a lot of debris coming from the ceiling. And I did this the same day that happened. She brought in someone to clean it up, and she was like, I'm sorry. She brought the candy, and I think that's a lot to say before for any host and for anyone that wants to do Airbnb is to actually try to fix the mistake before you get hey, there's something wrong with this. If you have that initiative and know for a fact that that's going on, fix it before you get that complaint.
So why did you all choose Airbnb over renting the apartments upstairs?
The money. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, we make sometimes 3 times, sometimes 4 times, at least double every month what we would make if we just lease it up to regular, tenants. But the other reason, it's because the maintenance. See, when you have a long-term tenant, it's very hard for them to actually tell you that there's an issue. Because they don't want you in, they don't want you to go in, they don't want maintenance, they're like, so it's very hard. And the fact that you have Airbnb and you have so many turnovers, you're always making sure everything's okay. So that's what he means by that. Like we have checklists, we have lists, we have systems that we already set in place. We've learned throughout the years, and anyone can do my job. No, not my job, but like the cleaning. Because I already have them like, hey, do this, check this, do this, check this, you know.
Yes.
And that's important. That's important when you have so many and you have to make sure that they all look the same every time. So there's a small training, you know, gap there, like where they have to learn and they have to get the like, hey, and I'm very good at telling people when they're doing something wrong.
Point it out.
Yeah, so I'm like, hey, and it's not in a mean way or anything. It's not like I'm like, you know,
constructive.
No, but
it's the thing, yeah, like
she can see them. She can see the issues that no one else can see.
And that's another thing they've always, my workers are like, it's because you have like laser eyes or you have like x-rays. I don't know what you have. Like, we didn't even see it. Or sometimes they would take pictures and send it to me and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, and I will like, and then they would be like, how could you see it through a picture? Like, we're literally standing here. We didn't see it. Like, how could you like notice through a picture? I'm like, because I'm looking at with different eyes. I'm looking at a different perspective. So I notice other things that you don't because you're not focused on what like that's my job, right? Like I know what my job is, so I focus on that. But that's like a very like common thing that they do.
Yeah, and now this I think is a funny story. It's that I know that my wife we started to scale up, and we had some friends from North Carolina that they wanted to put their house on Airbnb. So we went up there. Lafayette,
like with like
Lafayette,
4 days.
Yeah, within a weekend we pulled up 3 listings, right? 3 listings, and I don't know how. I mean, for us it's a lot of work because we have done it, and all the description, all the keywords, all the pictures and the decoration. It is an intensive. Yeah, because I mean, like that last day we just slept like 2 or 3 hours.
So what I mean, like 4 days, is like it was a Monday, and we bought our tickets to go out there on like for Thursday. So, I mean, they were super expensive too.
The funny story
and then
is
we
that,
got there on Thursday.
The funny story is, the funny story that I wanted to tell is that there was a problem with the dryer, and then it went down. And things that no one knew what happened, and then it's electrical. We think that we were electrical. She knew the problem, that it was a fuse that was bad. How often can you see like a fuse go be down? And then Jesus took an electrician and to check out the
breaker
box, and hey,
it's a bad fuse.
Yeah, everybody thought she was
and
like
a witch. They're like, how did you know? And I'm like, experience.
Yeah, wow. Like there's nothing that can buy that, really.
Yeah, because I already have that experience. I already know what I'm doing. Like there's only like, okay, if that happened, it's this or this. Like I already know, like this is probably this show, you know, and I'm always on point on it. Like, so that's good. But it's been very, but going back to how long it took us. So yeah, we were there, we got it furnished, and I think we stayed there 3 days. But I was running around to Ross, you know, with the owners, like, hey, we have to buy this, we have to buy that, like decorating 3 bedrooms, the whole house. It's a 3-bedroom, 3.5 baths. And I not only had to redecorate each bedroom, I had to do the living room, the kitchen, you know, the dining room. So it was a very intense weekend. I went to bed at 5 a.m. and our flight was leaving like at 11 a.m. So I only slept, like I didn't even sleep because we had to get ready at 9 because the airport was like an hour and a half away. Like it was just
right.
Yeah, but he wasn't gonna go with me. He was gonna send me by myself. And
I didn't think it was a lot. I mean, she wanted to say, "Oh, it's not a lot," because I knew that it was gonna be a lot of work.
he didn't want to go.
Yeah, and the thing is that I didn't want to go because of
our daughter.
Yeah.
So that was the first time we left her. We left her with my parents, but that was another thing, right? We're still parents here. So we're doing all of these things, but we're still parents. We have a toddler. She's going to be 2 next week. And, you know, all of our decisions and our biggest why is her. You know, the things that we do, the reasons we do it, it's because we know that this is a better future. This is a better, what else can we possibly do for her? So we enjoy it. Obviously, we enjoy working. I think that's another thing that's important. We enjoy work. We enjoy to work. I literally could never be that person that doesn't do anything. I can't be those people that are on unemployment and just chilling in their house. I couldn't be that person. I'm always working. And if I'm not a lot of like manual work, but it's all in my head. So it's also stressful to just,
yeah, she has a magic touch of whoever she knows, she can turn into a worker.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh.
I don't know how she does it, but she manages. Yeah, she manages to like get either something out of someone. Yeah, that's something that I couldn't do. Like I usually do my own things. Like if I do something, I have to do it myself. Yeah, but
Yeah,
she
no, I
she
don't
knows
do
how
that.
to get someone else.
He likes to, like, if he's the typical person that, hey, if I want it done, like, I'm gonna do it myself.
Yeah.
I'm not that person. I'm like, okay, if I need it done, I'm gonna get someone to do it because I'm not gonna do it. So I need to figure out who I'm gonna hire to do that. And then if that person sucks, I'm like, okay, you suck, but you have to do it again. And I try, and like I do tell them like, hey, no, this is. So even though I don't do the work, I know how the work is supposed to be done. How I know how it's supposed to be, I really don't know, but I know. It's like, I know that's not the right way this should be done. So, and my best friend, it's Google, YouTube, you know, Pinterest. We all learn in different ways. We all learn just getting out there and figuring stuff out. But I think that's very important for me. I'm not that I'm not, like, I do stuff, but everything's like up here, like in my mind, like, and I bring it to vision, like my vision, like I design it, I do the renderings for every remodeling that we do. I show it, I showcase it, and then I tell my husband, okay, this is what I want. How can you make it?
How can you make it happen?
Yeah, and he makes it happen. Like every time, he hasn't disappointed me. You know, he always comes through. We always finish by the deadline. How we do it, we don't know, but we always finish by the time. I've had guests wait for me like 5 minutes while I finish recording because I literally just finished like cleaning and setting it up and doing. I'm like recording, like, hey, this is what I did, blah, blah. And they're like outside like for 5 minutes waiting for me to be done, like, because that's the life that we have. We're always running around and trying to get things done. But it's been I would say it is stressful at times. This past 2 months has been very stressful with a lot of projects coming into like work at the same time. And
we usually manage just one timeline.
Yeah.
One project at a time. Right now it's like managing
3 at the same time.
Well,
and it's hard. It's hard
we
because
do a lot of things, but we would like to like concentrate in just one and then finish that one and then just jump up to the other one. But right now it's like
we couldn't do that. Like, it's just the workload that it came, and it's good. Like, it's good because like they know more about us. They want us to work with them and work for them and do stuff, but no one wants to work. It's really hard right now to find workers, and so obviously the workload, you know, goes on us. If we don't have someone to hire to do the job, then we have to do it, right? And for construction, that's a very tough thing to do. I mean, I don't do any construction. Like, and finding someone that it's reliable, that they're gonna do the job, that they're gonna be there. They come in one day, they don't come in the rest. You know, they come in when they want to. They need money, they come in. They don't need money, they leave. It's very stressful. So obviously, the people that we do have that are on payroll, we try to like not let them go hey, like, what do you need? What do you want? Because it's really hard right now. There's tough times, just not just for us, but for every business out there. It's a really hard time to hire. It's just it'll be back, but I think a big thing is here at the border. We're Juarez and El Paso. We're one big family.
Yes.
And the fact that the bridge has been closed for like over a year and a half now, like it's really taken a toll. It's taken a toll on business, like my parents' business. Like it was horrible during the pandemic. And my mom just had to reinvent herself. She sells through WhatsApp now. Like that's how she has to sell now. And before we started doing all this stuff, and I was a manager at that store, I hired my friend, and she was taking pictures of all the products. And mom's like, "That's such a waste of time. Like I don't know why we're paying her. Blah blah blah." And then anyway, so we fired her. And then now mom's like, I wish she would have finished because I need all those pictures. Because she's selling through WhatsApp. So now you have to take a picture in order to sell something, because if you don't, people can come.
That was before the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
She was taking the picture before the pandemic. So
like 2 years before the pandemic.
We were preparing for
we didn't know exactly. I didn't know I was doing something for this time, but yet I was doing it, and then we stopped that project, and then fast forward, now my mom no, so now she had to do the job that she didn't want my friend to do back then, because now she needed to take pictures of literally every product that she wants to sell. She has to take a picture, she has to send it to the client through WhatsApp, and then they have to order, and then she has to, sometimes she even takes it herself. Like she has the express lane, so she loads her truck, and then she takes it to them. It's a lot of work, but I mean, that's the life that we're at right now. Everything changed with this pandemic. Like how you do business changed, how you do everything changed. So, but yeah, I think we've been really grateful and blessed that we have all these opportunities. And for Airbnb, it's what I know. It's what I know. It's what I do. So I just try to put everything in Airbnb. It's like, let's do this. And like the venue, there's no venue out there that you'll find on Airbnb. I don't do contracts. I don't do non-refundable deposits. No, go to Airbnb. Like you won't find a venue there. Like it's very rare that you'll find like a loft, but you won't find like an actual venue where you can get married at. Because venues don't do that. Venues, they like contracts, and they like non-refundable deposits, because they assure that you're gonna have your event here or something. But for me, I don't really like to do that.
Because she puts herself as a customer.
Yeah. So for me, it was just like, well, imagine I had to cancel my wedding. Like, I don't want to cancel it, but I have to. And then you're already losing all this, non-refundable deposits on everything. I understand it from a business side, but I always put myself as a client. Every time I do Airbnb, I look at it at points. So once I finish doing the Airbnb listing, I look at it at, hey, would I stay here? Would I actually bring my family in? Would I stay in this place? That's how we find locations. That's how we find Airbnbs. Like, is this a good home for me to put on Airbnb? Is the location right? Because if I wouldn't stay there, how am I supposed to sell it to someone to come and stay here? If the neighborhood's sketchy, hell no, I'm not going to stay there. Like, why would I? And why would I think that someone paying money will want to stay here too? So we always try and see it from a client's perspective. I think that's actually a thing that really differentiates from anyone else, is that we're in the customer service world, even though we're not taking phone calls, but that's what we know. Airbnb and Amazon, it's very similar in that you prefer to refund the money as long as they don't give you a bad rating, because the ratings is what dictates,
purchases.
Exactly. So we prefer to, hey, no, this is your money, it's fine. We don't try to hold on to the money. For us, money is a vehicle. It's not the end game. It's just a tool. It's a vehicle for us to get to where we're going. So we don't like to I don't want to lose money, or it's okay. Money comes, money goes. Money comes back, money goes away. But yeah, so any other questions?
I know you have a lot to talk about, but for anybody that wants to start Airbnb, just something brief. I know you mentioned that customer service is a big thing, but is there one more thing that you would advise anybody? And I know you're gonna have an Airbnb workshop coming up, so everybody can learn there. But what's one more thing that you would say is important?
Location. That's for every business.
Right?
That's the most important thing. Like I mentioned right now, you have to make sure that you would stay in that place. If there's something iffy around there, if there's a graffiti house all next door, I mean, obviously look somewhere else. There's a lot of potential here in El Paso. There's a lot of opportunities. We're growing. The city is growing. It's growing in different ways, but you know, we have Amazon Distribution Center. There's another one that they're going to be building. You know, we just finished the West Star building. They just did all of these new hotels here in downtown. So there's a lot of things coming, but you do have to find a good location. I wouldn't say that there's a specific zip code here in El Paso. Like everything's a good opportunity as long as you feel safe, as long as it's you would stay there, like you would be like, because you can't just say, well, they won't mind. No, the people that come to El Paso, they're not from El Paso. The traveling nurses, traveling professionals, engineers, everybody that's coming to work, they come to work. This is an urban market. This isn't vacation rental. I do have a condo in Playa del Carmen. That's vacation rental. People go there regardless if you do or not. Like they go there to vacation, to chill, to party. So that's what that is. But here in El Paso, we don't have any tourist areas. You come to work, so you have to make sure that you're providing a safe place and a comfortable place for the people that are coming from out of town or out of state, and they feel safe. So I think that's like the first thing for us. You have to make sure that they feel safe, that the location is great, that it's an easy access to a highway, that there's, you know, convenience stores close by. Or we all know that here in El Paso you need a car to do anything. But the out-of-towners don't know that. So you have to find, hey, how can I facilitate this? And we have a blog. It's called theunionplaza.com. Where we actually put all that information for the people staying here in downtown. Hey, walking distance, you can get to here. Walking distance, you can get to here. Because we know that it's not easy to always bring your car over, or, you know, you're traveling. A rental, maybe it's a little bit expensive, or Ubering everywhere, it's also expensive, you know. So we try and find a way to show them you can actually do walking distance. Downtown San Jacinto Plaza has a lot of restaurants, bars, you know, stuff that they can do, and obviously, or a short Uber drive away or something like that. But I think that's like the first thing that I would say: location, and then obviously, great communication with your guests. That differentiates you from the rest of the hosts. All of my reviews rave about how quickly I answer their messages, because I'm like this. Like, I see a message, I respond. Like, I'm so used to now waking up in the middle of the night and checking my phone and seeing if I have a message from Airbnb, because you never know, right? We do have self-checking methods, and what if the code's not working? What if they're locked out? What if this? What if that? So I'm just so used to doing that, because I've had where I knock out and it's like, oh, something happened. So, but yeah, I think that's the main thing. And going back to the workshop, we will be having a workshop September 9th here at the Union Plaza Loft venue. It's gonna be from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And the tickets, you guys can find them on Seoenz.com. That's SEOENZ.com. And you guys can buy your tickets there to join the workshop.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I mean, if you want to hear more about how to start a successful Airbnb business, please make sure to check them out. thank you so much for being here. We loved all the stories that you guys gave us.
We have more to talk to, but
We're gonna have to
time's
come
running
back.
out. Yeah.
Yes, this is only the tip of the iceberg, right?
Yes.
Yes.
No, thank you for
Thank you for
inviting us.
coming. Thank you for
Yes.
inviting us.
Thank
You know,
you.
it's very helpful to everything that we do, and we're really grateful that you guys came over.
And we're hoping that everyone that listens to this can learn a little bit more.
Yeah,
That's the end.
definitely. I mean, I'm really open to like questions from anyone. If you guys
Yes.
wanna send me a message through Instagram, it's called EPTX Airbnb. Usually, I respond there for any questions that someone with Airbnb might have.
Yes.
We do have Made by Seoenz, and that one it's just everything that we touch. It's there, so you guys can find us on Facebook, on Instagram. You know, we're pretty much YouTube too, so we're pretty much everywhere. But yeah, it's been great, you know, for you guys to come over. We're really happy. We're really excited. You know, good things are coming to El Paso.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
And hope to hear from you next time. Thank you. Está. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys.
Con otros amigos, Don Pepe Tequila, son una comunidad tequilera. Y también hicieron un live mientras estamos grabando y les pasó lo mismo.